We have not come face to face with the truth that believers separating themselves from the gathering of church is sin. Well, first of all, you're going to say, or somebody's going to say, well, you don't have to go to church to be saved, do you? You're still saved if you don't go to church. That's the number one thing that I think most believers say first. Well, I know in my heart I've accepted Jesus. I know I'm safe. And so it's not going to affect my salvation. And so I don't need to go to church. Have you heard anybody say that, or have maybe you thought it to yourself before? I challenge you to tell me that someone's going to hell because they didn't go to church on Sunday. And I'm going to say that's not the issue. We're not talking about a salvation issue. We're talking about a love the Lord issue. You know, the first and greatest command is repeated several times. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself, as the second command like unto it. And I'm going to tell you, it is impossible to fulfill the great commandment of loving the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength without the practice of church life. It is impossible. You do not love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and strength and mind if you don't engage in regular worship, fellowship, and the work of the church. The devotion that God calls us to love Him, to serve Him, to seek after Him, to worship Him, to return to Him, to turn to Him, to obey Him, all of those things with all of our heart, that can only be done with a heart that desires to come into His presence and worship Him regularly. If you, as a believer, have separated yourself from the fellowship and work of the church and from the worship of the church, or what we say in just our regular way of talking, if you're a Christian and you don't make it a habit of going to church, you're not obeying this command. And there's no way you can convince me otherwise. You may say, yeah, I can worship God out on the lake, or I worship Him by doing my, well, not with your whole heart. Because you've taken yourself away from the body. I'm telling you these things because I'm not chewing you guys out for not coming to church. I'm telling you this because we need to be able to tell our believing brothers and sisters, wherever they are, that are not participating in church, not because of illness or because of infirmity, but because of choice. We need to be able to tell them these things. Whether or not you are in church on Sunday, you are a part of the body of Christ if you belong to Him. And you are hurting yourself, and you are hurting me when you don't come. It's a sin against the body to separate yourself from the body. I believe that as we gear up for evangelism this year, it's going to look like a lot of different things. But one of the things we have to do if we want our evangelism to mean something is to renew those who belong to Christ back into the body. And it may not be that they were ever members of Stephendale Baptist Church before, but if they have been saved and if they were a member of some church and they're not a member of any church now, they need to be somewhere. We need to be admonishing believers. Go back to your church. Jump in with both feet and get involved. If not, come join us. Jump in with both feet and get involved. And I know several of you were at a place where you were without a church body and you felt the pain of separation from the body. And when you came to Stephendale, you said, here is a body of Christ that I can be a part of and will be a part of. And you have experienced the blessing of God because you've done that.